And welcome to today's video where we talk about high-ticket dropshipping again. And today I want to kind of clarify 4 very common myths when it comes to high-ticket dropshipping. You probably recognize that this image that we have here from my live training that I've held around a week ago. And this is kind of the symbol for high-ticket that I used. You can sell like $4.99 cables, or you can sell something like expensive furniture or something like that. Now, of course, the $4.99 example is a little unrealistic. I don't really know people that sell products that are that cheap, but I see a clear trend that the majority of people are actually selling very cheap items, which is kind of difficult versus those that are selling expensive products and do that successfully. So there are still very few who even try high ticket in the first place. And I think one of the reasons for that or 4 reasons for that actually are the myths that I want to present to you guys today in this video. So let's get started with the first myth right away. And that first myth that I'm talking about here is high ticket is more expensive to test. So I see this all the time. People send me emails and they are like, "Hey Marco, I love your I loved your training about high ticket. I love your videos about high ticket. I planned to get into your course for high ticket, but isn't it much more expensive to like sell high ticket products? Isn't it much more difficult to test, to scale, whatever?" And we need to look at the numbers because this question can be answered very, very easily and quickly. Let's say we stick to that furniture example and this particular couch that we have here. Now, there are many high ticket niches. People always think it's only furniture, but you have like gadgets, electronics, security type of devices, you have certain toys, you have outdoor stuff, you have certain types of gear that you can wear. Literally, there are millions of products and hundreds or thousands of sub niches. And if you sell such a product like this couch here, always use it because you see immediately that's an expensive item. Let's say that your profit per sale is like $300, right? Because this is highly realistic. Of course, you can also get higher than that. And the point is, yes, normally it's more expensive to sell one high ticket product. So it's probably your cost per acquisition for this couch here might be, let's say, $50. It might be $100. It might be $200. But the point is, if you sell, as soon as you sell this product, you make $300 or $500 or maybe even $600, who knows, dollars at once. So you make one sale and you're immediately deeply in the positive again. Whereas if you sell something like this cable here, and again, very extremely cheap example, not many people are doing that, but let's say you make $1 profit per sale, right? If you sell this $5 item. And the point is, first of all, $1 profit per sale. It may also be that, you sell these items and for the beginning, you're not making any money at all. And this is the problem. If you test cheap products, the test is not successful just because like you broke even on that one product, because you're testing multiple things. And you may do $1 profit per sale for this particular ad, for this particular product. But since you're testing like 5 products at the same time or 10 or 15, usually you're still deeply in the negative once your product already starts making sales. Plus, a product cannot really be considered a winner if you sell like 20 of them, if you just make $1 profit. And I see that many people, they say, "Oh, today I sold my first 3 products." And the point is, then they probably made $10 profit on that. And don't get me wrong, it's always awesome to sell a product, even if it's super cheap. But when I see people then they're like, "Hey, I just sold 3 products, but I'm still not making a lot of money. I just made like $10 in profit." This is exactly the problem here. So you might run a campaign for like 2 or 3 weeks and make like a total of $100 or $200 in profit. If it's not working out well. With high ticket, you sell just one. And as soon as you sell one product, you have enough budget again to invest into multiple other testings, into multiple other campaigns. And it's all much quicker and easier to do because you're not always running on those tiny margins that don't allow you to go to the next step, basically. You're always like on this cheap one, you're always in this small environment where you try to make this happen right now, but it doesn't really work out because you're always stuck. You always get very small amount back into your pocket. And the second myth that we talk about here is that there are very few suppliers who actually sell high tickets. So I see this a lot. People are like, it's so difficult to find the right suppliers, etc. The point is, and this is now a slide from my training, there are actually a lot of platforms that you can choose from, especially when you use high tickets. So of course, we all know AliExpress, we all use it. The point is here, you can suddenly get to a whole new like category of suppliers starting at like $50 or $100 purchase price, but you can use Alibaba. So you can go to alibaba.com and you can talk to individual suppliers. You can request quotes. You can request inquiries from those companies and talk about, negotiate prices, etc., etc. Something that is very hard to do with low ticket, because many suppliers on Alibaba don't want to dropship if you just buy like a $3 product, right? It's not really worth it for them to sell you $5 products one by one by one by one. But if you buy like a $200 product, they will still do that. And suddenly you have this whole world of Alibaba where you have much more products on top of the ones that you have on AliExpress. We have Global Sources, which is just a similar platform, very professional, fewer products on there, but like I said, very professional and good to source. We have Big Buy, a European platform. You have also Etsy, and you can also search for products on Google. So there are plenty of ways to find suppliers. There are literally hundreds of thousands, if not millions of suppliers that you can potentially choose from. And the whole environment of products that you can source is just, and the whole range is just much wider than on low ticket, because suddenly it is possible to source one by one, and it is possible to go to those good suppliers, and especially also source something that has a better quality. If you source like $5 products or fidget spinners or something like that, it's always a battle of you don't want to pay too much because then you sell it for $15, etc. Now you can suddenly go into more quality stuff. You can actually build a brand and do something more long term. The third myth is that many people think high ticket and dropshipping just doesn't work in general, whether this is like product wise or just, as I mentioned, quality wise or convincing people, etc., etc. And the first point is that you need to think about offering premium delivery at all time. So if I buy a product from your store now and I pay like $600, I don't want to wait for 40 days. I don't want to wait 30 days, because people get really impatient and also nervous if they pay that much and they have to wait for your product that long. Now, I know that even with like, at least here in Germany, when you buy like furniture online, you may still wait 4 weeks or 5 weeks or something, because they sometimes can build the product just in time. But still, if I buy something from your store, especially if it's a non-furniture product, people still expect it to come early. And if you really say 40 days until your product gets to your place, people get impatient, and the chance of actually getting a chargeback because the product is so expensive is much higher than on a $5 item, right? If someone buys a $5 item from you, they are not thinking about this product every single day because it was just $5. Worst case, they don't get their product. It's pretty, shit happens, but it's not really that much of a big problem. If someone pays $600 for a product and after 2 weeks, nothing happened, even though you may have said that it takes a while, people can get impatient. People may message you, and if they realize, okay, something is fishy here, chargeback, refunds, ton of emails, all these things can happen. So offer premium delivery all the time. And this is something that you can only do because you do high ticket. If you sell a $600 item, you can pay those extra dollars to get premium delivery and to get it to their door in like a week. You can also source locally, which allows you to deliver in 2 or 3 days anyway. All these things are much better and reduce the chance of someone charging back and all these things. And suddenly all dropshipping does work with high ticket and people actually buy. Also, you need to assess your suppliers in depth, and not just on low ticket. It doesn't really matter that much, at least once you're not in scaling phase yet. So whether your $5 product is like medium or high quality doesn't really matter that much, because most of the products in this range have a standard quality level anyway, so they won't be like tremendously good if you pay that much. However, if you go with high ticket, people expect a certain level of quality, and you cannot just sell $800 products and have some super cheap plastic stuff, some very bad box around it that is damaged when it arrives, etc. So you should really pay attention to those things. And the first thing is always visit their homepages. So whether you use a platform like Alibaba, or whether you find them yourselves on Google, check their homepages, check, if possible, check like factory pictures that they have, find out how their production line looks like, all these kind of things that you can see on their homepage, which products they sell. Of course, read reviews. On low ticket, I believe that sometimes it's more important to find new, unique products instead of always going with those suppliers that have a ton of reviews already. With high ticket, you definitely want to see some good reviews, because you don't want to sell expensive stuff and then realize that this business is actually not good. And the last thing, or actually there are more, but these 3 things are also important. check certificates if possible. So you will see that many suppliers, especially if you check outside AliExpress, because remember, AliExpress is just a retail platform and not a wholesale platform. If you go to a more professional sourcing platform, then you will see that people often have certificates. So many businesses are actually retailers, many businesses are wholesalers, and when they have certificates saying that they have been certified for a certain type of product, for a certain production process or whatever, this really helps. If it was like especially given from a third party assessment center or something. And this is really helpful because you can see whether they actually know what they're talking about. For example, I don't really like trading companies that much. There are many companies on AliExpress and Alibaba, etc., and all they do is buy all kind of stuff from other companies and then resell it. I personally like to, first of all, work with wholesalers that actually specialize in one thing, or go to the manufacturer directly if possible. And this is why certificates, etc., are helpful, because then you can really see what is this company doing, what is their core business. And if you see that they match what you plan to do, so if they match your product line, your niche, whatever, this really helps, and this will kind of increase the likelihood that they have good quality to offer and they're not just selling anything. And the fourth myth, the last that I want to talk about here today, is that people think it's impossible to convert. Like, how do I convert such an expensive item if I don't even manage to sell like $5 products? And this kind of makes sense. But the point is, your strategy with high ticket needs to be different. And of course, I could do like 10 videos only on psychology and how to convert people and how to build your store and how to structure your marketing. But this is way too in depth for this video. But in general, or now that's funny, but a niche store is better than a general store. So this is, I know I talk about this a lot on this channel, that I always prefer niche, but on high ticket, this is especially true. Like, it's almost impossible, I would say, to sell products, high ticket products in a real general store, because with high ticket, people expect some level of expertise, if you want. So of course, Amazon can do that because they simply, they are Amazon, they have this brand. But if you now come up with a random store, they don't know you, and you sell furniture and gadgets and this and that, and everything is super expensive, they don't really trust you, and they believe that, there is something fishy if they sell all this expensive stuff and claim to be an expert, etc. So niche store is tremendously important and powerful if you go with high ticket. So if you go with high ticket, go into a niche, go into a sub niche, even like to something very specific, not something super broad like all kind of furniture or all kind of electronics. Pick something in there, and then you can really build your portfolio and build categories up in this particular niche. And people will now see you more as an authority and are more likely to convert because they know you're only selling this. Also, consider advanced paid themes. Now, you don't have to do that immediately. I know that sometimes it can be, it's not the best thing to pay like $150 or $200 for a paid Shopify theme from start. But as soon as you make some sales, or if you say I have a good budget and I want to, do my best, consider a paid theme, because there are literally a lot of paid themes that work just way better than free themes. Because the point is, there are much more paid themes, and you want to adapt the theme to your niche. I know people just build their store like this, and they say, no, I just choose a random niche and I will basically use the same design for everything and just exchange niches. The point is, you want to tailor your store to your niche and not the other way around. So, for example, luxury. So if you were selling some luxury security or some high quality security systems or some luxury garden furniture, this kind of looks different, or should look different, than if you are selling just some toys for children or something. So the paid theme, or the theme in general, should be tailored to your niche so that people immediately feel what you want to bring across with your brand or your store. Also, you should test landing pages versus a normal store. I talked about this multiple times on this channel already as well. The point is, if you have just a few products or even a one product store, you may think about actually building landing pages, ClickFunnels, Zipify, Pagefly, whatever it is, and test how they perform against normal stores. Now, with some cheap products, especially if you have a lot of them, this may be a little overkill to do with every product. But if you just, like I said, have 10 products in your store, maybe just 5 or 6, maybe 20, it can actually be fruitful to test landing pages that you fully dedicate to those individual products and see how they perform. And the last point, before we are done with this video here today, is that you should build full funnels, or at least test them, which means you have segmented retargeting, you have multiple touch points, because when people convert for a $500 item, many of them don't buy immediately. Like, sure, the highest percentage buys on day one, but then you have a lot of people buying on day two, on day three, on day seven, on day 21. And the point is, if you don't follow up, if you don't build a whole retargeting funnel where you kind of recover them on multiple touch points, like add to carts, and after they visited your site, and 7 days later they get an ad, and then they get another one 2 days later. So you really strategically think on how to get them back and how to make them convert. If you don't do that, you're leaving at least 50%, if not much more, on the table, because you forget that those people, they look at your product, they kind of like it, but they just spend 2 minutes on your site. And normally, at least normal people don't decide for a $500 or even like $1,000 product in just 1 or 2 minutes. So they need more time. They probably have to talk about it with their, like, I don't know, spouse or whoever it is. And maybe they think about it again. Maybe they compare and they check others and they ask friends. So if you don't retarget to them, and if you don't build this whole funnel, they may just forget about you. They may have forgotten that you exist. They may just have gone with another business. And this is why you should build those full funnels. And this will also help you to convert. And then it's definitely not impossible to do that. So yeah, guys, I hope that this video helped you. I hope that this made a lot of sense for you. If you want to go the extra mile and learn way, way more about high ticket, everything from sales psychology, convincing people to buy, how to research products, how to do marketing, how to use Google, Facebook, and everything for high ticket, make sure that you check my training, the High Ticket Masterclass, in the description. But also, I hope that you enjoyed this video here. Please leave a like if you did. Please leave a like if this helped you. Also subscribe if you want to see more like this. We will talk a lot about high ticket in the future. And also, of course, some more general e-commerce stuff. So if you don't want to miss that out, make sure that you subscribe to this channel right now. Would really appreciate that. So as I said, I hope this was helpful for you and that you will apply those techniques to your business. And I will hopefully see you in the next video, guys. Bye-bye.